Welcome to today's edition of Crosstalk. We often say we want better leadership, but you can't skip one step, and that step is what we want to talk about, because we can't expect change if we don't go to the ballot. Across the country, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has rolled out voter registration ahead of the 2027 elections and the by-elections that are scheduled. And everyone is talking about change. Here's the big question. Are young people actually registering to vote? In studio with me are the Gen Zs, the young people of Kenya who are shaping the future of our nation. Also joining me are civic educators, political analysts who will help us understand what's at stake and why registration is not just a right, but a responsibility. I want to introduce my guests. It's a rich panel. I'm joined on set by Kevin Oyoga. Kevin Oyoga is the National Coordinator at the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, that's EAK. He was formerly the Program Manager and Head of Secretariat at the Kenya Christian Forum. This is a professional body that brings all Christians together. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Asante sana. Karibu Crosstalk.
Thank you. It's a great honor to be here.
A registered voter?
Oh, I've voted a number of times.
Since 2002?
In all the elections done under the 2010 Constitution.
All right.
I voted in all of them.
Now you are the right person. At least you have an experience about that. I'm also joined by Brian Tony. Brian Tony Ogola is the chairperson of J25 movement, an active citizen organization focused on justice, equity, and constitutionalism in Kenya. He'll be talking to us more about what they do. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
Yes.
And I must confirm I'm also a registered voter.
Yes.
Since 2010, voting for the new Katiba and all subsequent elections, I've participated fully.
Yes.
Thank you.
And there's a team that is also joining us, a panel that is rich of young, aspiring leaders of this country. They are going to be speaking to us, and as they speak, you're going to know who they are. I think I leave that for a teaser so that you keep tuned to this particular conversation. As we start, I think I'll start with you before I get to my rich panel here. Kevin, when we talk about an election in this country, we are not just talking about 1 million shillings, 2 million, 10 million. We are talking about billions of shillings that are invested after every 5 years into a process that gives us leaders. We sometimes, it's said, is a reflection of who we are. If you look at our electioneering cycle, what would you say is the most expensive? And why should an election be such an expensive affair?
Thank you. Our election is actually one of the most expensive election process in the whole world. And when you say a number of billions, we are actually talking about 61 billion this year that has been requested at the budget. In only 24 by-elections, we are going to spend more than $1 billion. By-elections, we're going to spend more than 1 billion. And all of us knows what 1 billion is. It is a huge money. Now, the main reason, according to me, why our elections are very expensive is trust. We are paying for trust. You look at the security features in our ballot papers, the kind of gadgets that we use, from the identification, first the registration, the identification, and on the transmission, the security that accompany all this process speaks to the fact that we do not trust each other. We suspect each other, and so we must pay for that trust deficit that we have. And you realize that this trust is not only us citizens against the electoral officials, the IBC officials, even among them, they don't trust each other. And we have seen this quite a number of times under the 2010 Constitution. Anytime there is always election, you will hear I did not support what they said. I did not support that. Meaning even among our officials, there is a mistrust. And so we are paying this for the trust, thinking that it will fix something. And at the end of the day, it doesn't fix anything.
It doesn't fix anything. Brian, such a sad situation that we are dealing with a trust deficit in our country and across independent commission bodies, but also in the three arms of government. Why is that so?
So, as my colleague has properly said, we are paying heavily for lack of trust. But also, the political process has been made unnecessarily too antagonistic. So we must have some sort of barrier between us. So we employ technology. So technology also comes with a bit of expense, whether you want to do live transmissions until different setups until it reaches the voters in the ward level. So trust is very expensive, but also I think it's necessary. If we don't do this, then the next thing is anarchy. We are going to war. So I believe it's necessary, but as our democracy mature, I believe some of the system will have to tone it down a bit as we transition to more simpler, accessible, and something that can reach majority of the people. So even the technology that is put from the OT MOFO from previous election, these are just software-based systems, which necessarily doesn't need to be expensive. Some of the system can be built by our Kenyan developers. But you see, because of lack of trust, you have to hire a foreign company from France.
We even have to print ballot papers.
You know, the other time we
abroad.
wanted, the court gave access for the servers to be open, like a direction. So we have to wait for a company in France, for the executive to wake up so that they open the server so that we get access. So imagine a country like Kenya being held through a system like that. So yes, trust is expensive, but eventually it's also necessary as we mature as a democracy.
Okay.
So I believe with as the democratic space expand, as more young people enter into politics, as diverse community, women and everybody join politics, I believe it will be more representative and the heat will come down.
Okay.
But for now, I believe it's a necessary expense.
All right.
That we'll have to take deal.
But we'll also speak to how then do we build or rebuild this trust? Because whichever case, the commission has been formed.
Yes.
They were just sworn in the other day in July, so we have to give them the benefit of doubt that they will do a good job. But let me come to you, Joy. Is this a system issue or a people issue? When you look at it from a young person who wants to venture into politics, what will make you not trust IEBC? Is this the system or the people in office?
Of course, for a long
Just
time,
hold your mic up.
Of course, for a long time, our systems have failed us. And as a young person, I do not trust the IEBC because of the notion that has always been there. Actually, this morning I was speaking to a young person and I was telling them of how I want to vote. And they said a very interesting thing. The system has its own deep states and they already know who will win even before us voting. And this shows how there is a very huge gap to be bridged between the system and the young people. So I'm really hoping that as time goes by, we'll get an opportunity to have systems that are as transparent as possible. Okay, for the young people like me to trust the system and to also take a chance in political power.
Shadrach, when you look at the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution, of course, that brought with it a lot of human rights and a lot of independent bodies, which sometimes I call them as the fourth arm of the government, and IEBC is one such institution. Do you think it still has an executive capture?
Well, first of all, let me introduce myself.
Yes.
I'm Shadrach Protichiego. I come from Nandi Hills and an aspirant on the coming election. Well, on my presentation on what actually comes in when we talk about the independent bodies that we're having with the institutions, IBC being one of them, is that I think that it's not in a way captured. At the same time, there are some things that will make them be answerable to the government because that is where they source for their funds. the budget comes from, in as much as you are independent and you still have to go to an institution to ask for funding, then at some point you'll have to bend as per their rules. We've always said that there is a mistrust in the IBC, but I think that this also takes us back to all the process that has been happening from 2010 when we promulgated this constitution. We realized that we've only had one election, that is 2013, that was led by the interim that had like the highest percentage at 81. The rest has been coming down. So what did Isaac Hassan did that was different from what these other chairmen have been doing? One, he did a massive voter registration and trying to always run campaigns that would reach young people, so many people. So I think that is another thing. And then number two, there has been counter checks. When you realize that every other election we always go to the Supreme Court, that has made our institution to be extremely tight and have to also go to an extent so that they might not always get themselves on the wrong. 2017 we had IBC being paraded, let me say globally, for Maraga saying that they had done a shoddy election. So you see they have to move a step higher. And then now we have the multipartism that has also made our election so bulky. You can find one election paper for an MCA running for like 2 pages. That also go into financial constraints. So there are so many things that surrounds that, and I think that if we approach it well, we will be able to get some improvement. Okay. Thank you.
Let me get it from Vincent, because he's a man on the ground and he's gearing for the by-elections. When you engage on the ground, if you look at the money that is being put on the by-elections, which is 1 billion, you as a politician, how much are you investing? What does it take for you to vie for an MP seat, for instance?
Okay, my name is Vincent, and I'm actually a contestant in the upcoming by-elections, Ugunja constituency in Siaya County. I won't really be comfortable saying exactly how much I'm investing into the campaigns.
But it's expensive,
But
right?
it's very expensive. I'm very, very, very much happy with that question, because actually when we were just waiting for this show, my good friend here, Ogola, asked us that question. Is it the political class or is it the people who are making these campaigns or the political process expensive? And what I can say is that I see it as a culture that has been there. The legacy politicians have been using this because most of them don't have the idea of actually transforming the society. So they go further and now use funds, heavy funds, to then try and convince people to come and vote. So that has then generated a culture whereby now the people, the whole community, are now like, when you come, in my local dialect, they say, yuko jamna. Yuko jamna means you kind of so like in my they say you must come with something, and they believe you cannot really win an election without money, you see. And it's now a culture that has been inculcated in the people through the legacy politicians or the legacy political class. What I can say is that right now we must just try as the young people to try and change this. Because you see, the older generation, they are thinking otherwise. In fact, they even think along community or tribal political parties. You see, just the same thing. If you try to marry from a certain community, it becomes a problem. And the same thing applies to politics. So our politics is very expensive, but I'm quite sure we will change with time. Yes.
Let me see if I can get the right answer. Maybe Joy just passed your mic to Kevin, who is also vying. Maybe you can have the confidence to answer how much a politician like you will put into a campaign.
Let me first.
Also where you are vying.
My name is Kevin Mwangi. I am a youth leader and an aspirant in Kirinyaga County as an MCA in a ward called Mutira Ward. Well, the question of how much we are willing to put in, is hard to answer because you can't really like
Politicians never say the
no,
right thing.
Let me tell you why it is hard to answer. If you budget for $1 million, let's say for $1 million, like my ward has 18,000 voters registered as of the 2022 by elections. By now, maybe I will add another maybe 5,000. That gets it to close to 23,000. So if I decide today to go with the culture that has been there of tokenism, I will have to account to maybe 100 bob for the 23,000 voters. What if on one day you go and you know there's ridges in Kirinyaga. You move from that ridge and you've given 100 each. Those guys, before you circumnavigate to the other ridge, they cross through the river and they are there. So you're double budgeting for the same person. So it is hard to explain. It is hard to budget for it. So unless now we idealize and we do a lot of civic education to remove them from this idea of I need to bring you money so that you can elect me as your representative. Because if I involve money in my campaigns, then when I get in, luckily, I will first of all do return on investment. There is no development. I am human. If I took a loan from any of our banks to give you money, when I go there, please do not expect, even God in heaven knows he will forgive me. Do not expect development. The first thing I will do, the small ward fund that is there, which is kind of not there these days, I will disappear with it. And then I will do a facade of some few roads here and see you in the next election. So it is upon us, especially as the youth, and that is why today is a very good day for this discussion. The youth have to change the narrative. We are dealing with a 3-generational thing. We have the generation that was ruled by Kenyatta. They are still alive, some of them. Another generation ruled by Moi. They are alive. They are our parents and grandparents. And then the generation of Kibaki and Uhuru, and now Ruto. That is a 3-generation, or even 4 to some people. We are even 4 generations. And the thinking is very different. There's a generation that was used to suffering. The first generation was used to suffering to a point that they do not care what you want to do. As long as you do it, you feed their pocket today. Whatever you do in parliament, whatever you do as a governor, they do not care. They actually say, hata ule mwenye yako hajai niletea ugali. So you do what you can do today, vile tumeonana. Whatever you're promising is null and void to them. Void, yeah. And then there's this other generation on the extreme end of us, the youth, who we can sit and discuss, and I tell you, hey, instead of lying to you, I will build a stadium or I will support football, and there is nobody in your area that has been scouted to play in the National Super League or Kenya Premier League, and I have supported football for the last 15 years, as your MP, I am lying to you. That is supporting PE. That is supporting your hobbies, which you can do on your own. Instead of doing that, can I build an ICT hub so that someone who cannot afford to do graphics and design as a course in university can be taught by someone who has done? Because when you have the basics, I believe the rest is self-taught. Can we change the narrative from that to this? All right.
We'll get back to you as well as we come, but I want to pick something so that I don't lose it, which is political tokenism. He's talked about it, that when they go on the ground, people expect, now that Mheshimiwa is here, they can't just walk alone, like some footballers with fans would say. Okay. How do we deal with this political tokenism, which breeds political corruption?
Can I go first?
Okay, go first.
So we had this discussion just before we joined the studio. So political tokenism has been brought about through successive election by leaders, or I call them businessmen, cartels, dealers, who do not have the idea of what they're going to do. They don't understand the landscape or the needs of the people. So the only shortcut they have is come and line up people, give you 50, 100. So that's blood the conversation or the responsibility that is expected of them to give direct ideas or provide solution to what's affecting them. So money is used as a scapegoat to elect people who are very incompetent, people who do not have a vision, people who do not have idea, people who do not have any context or philosophy of what needs to happen, or the service they need to provide to the people. So money is used as a, how do I say it, as a system to cover the inadequacy in that aspect.
Okay.
So money is not like a very necessary tool. Maybe you can say you can use to publish. Maybe in normal democracy, they use money to publicize material, T-shirt scape, to increase their visibility. So in our political context in this country, they use it just as a straight
as a bribe.
Yeah.
Kevin.
John, you have no idea how much these people spend, and they can't tell you, because even themselves, they do not have idea.
I think it's more of a lucrative business, so they don't want to give me
it is a very lucrative one.
Yeah.
We talk about 61 billion for electoral process. I think the politicians now even double it. Because the reality is, there was a research, I can't remember who did it. For you to successfully run for MCA, you need 3.5 million.
Yes.
I don't know whether you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And for MP now, it goes to around 22 million. For governor, it goes to 500 million. He has talked about return investments. All of us knows what MCA earns.
Yes.
It is 150 before deductions.
Yes.
Comes around 90-something thousand. When will you ever recover your 3.5 million?
You threat to impeach a governor.
Really?
Yeah.
You will push a threat here so that you're given 100, and you boost that a bit. Now, the issue here is culture. And Ogolas talked about this. We are having a very bad culture in this country. And I'm not sure whether the young people are ready to change this. I'm just nearing crossing the border of the youth. So, so I'm very senior. I'm actually a millennial. I'm not a Gen Z. I'm a millennial. I'm still there, but I'm almost crossing. I don't know whether the young people are ready to change the narrative, John, because we saw this in the Mandamano that took place in Nairobi the other day. The team that was walking with the rungus were actually young people. The other team that were on the street also advocating for good things were young people. That tells you young people can easily be manipulated as well. How then do we change this culture? To me, it is by us starting today and going out deliberately to do a civic education on what good governance look like. People talk about good governance, but they don't know what good governance is.
True.
We go around saying we need good governance, but if you are put in a corner and you ask, how does good governance, paint for us good governance here? We can't say it. And in the village where he's vying, and even him, good governance equals money and the image you present when you come to look for votes. When you show up, you need to present yourself in a manner that shows that you have something. And if you don't have, you will hear terms like, Vincent is very good, but he doesn't have money. No, Kevin is, even how he presents himself, he's very good, but he has nothing to give us. No, Joy looks very responsible, but he can't give us anything. That bad part must change among the young people. And I know we are going to talk about 6.3 million.
Which is the target.
Which is the target. And I know some of you there falls under that category who did not vote in 2022. And now you're going to vote in the coming election. This thing, we have not been able to change it, us who have been voting for some time. We are banking our hope in the 6.3 million people to give us direction, unfortunately.
This is Crosstalk. We are looking at voter registration. Young people really motivated to go register to vote. In the upcoming by-elections, and the next general elections. You can be part of this conversation. Share your feedback on 20316, which is our SMS line. WhatsApp line is 0786 316 316. We'll be right back after this short break.
We are living in a lost and broken world, constantly bombarded by messages of hate and atrocities. But with God, we can overcome. Find hope and restoration on the go through life-changing shows on the Family Media app.
And then you will lose yourself and gain the world. And Jesus said, what good is it?
Get to stream Family TV and Family Radio 316 straight from your phone. Catch up on a show you missed or create video streaming playlists by saving and watching videos from our huge variety of shows at your own convenience. Download the Family Media app, available for all Android and iOS users on the Google Play Store and Apple Store respectively. Family Media, keeping Jesus on the airwaves.
Welcome back to Crosstalk. We often say we want better leadership, but how do we get this better leadership if we don't do our civic responsibility and duty to go out and vote? And not just vote, vote wisely. And that's the conversation we have today on this panel. It's an amazing conversation. I think we are getting different views and perspectives from young people who are venturing into politics, but also guys who have been into this field. Brian, before we took a break, the question was, my vote really doesn't count. And we've seen it because post-2010 Constitution, all presidential elections have ended up into the Supreme Court. So it looks like the Supreme Court have to make the final decision on who wins or who won an electoral process. Before the 2010 Constitution in 2007, the late Kivuitu said, I don't even know who won this election. So the trust issue of this commission, with the responsibility that it has been given by the Kenyan public, they feel like our vote really doesn't count. How do we change that narrative?
So here is what I'm feeling about this. So number one, every vote counts. And I believe the Supreme Court process is a necessary arbiter because of the heated political environment we have. So the more cases we take to the Supreme Court concerning the election, the more we strengthen the processes. So they always find gaps and they advise the Electoral Commission on what areas to strengthen. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear young citizen, your vote counts. Very much count. In fact, the votes, those who don't go to vote are the ones who vote for the people we don't want.
Yeah, but also we've seen the politics of handshake, politics of broad-based government. So if I did vote you in to power, but now you are enjoying the benefits of that power. So where is the value of a Kenyan voter? So
we have a system where we've been captured by what we call the political elite or dynasties.
Or the deep state.
The deep state, including the political parties involved. So there's a limited space of alternative that we've experienced for a very long time. I believe the 2027 election that is coming will be the first time that we have a very diverse group of candidates. Those who you can say without a iota of doubt that this is a clean man. You can name them. Are they the Okiya Mtatas? Are they the Maragas? Are they the Ruben Kigames? So these are the people who you can trace their level of growth to where they are, even how they've earned their sense up to here. So what has disenfranchised us are the options we've been having. So that begs the question, or that answers your question that even if I vote, my vote won't count for anything. So I reply back for all those citizens who have those ideas that vote for the leader you believe in. For the first time, you're not limited to either ODM or UDA. These are the people who, you know, their scandals. If it's Raila, he has done something before. It's Ruto or Uhuru Kenyatta and the rest, you know they have something, at least tainting them. So you have a clear choice. So there's no excuse for any young person
Not to vote wisely.
Not to vote this time.
Okay.
The choice has been brought to you clearly. So there is nothing like your vote was count. Vote first, then we see the level of how your candidate perform. Then from then, there will be able to ascertain as a country, do we have enough progressive people to take Kenya forward?
All right.
That is the only anchor we can measure to see for certain if we are progressive.
Okay.
Nature. So that's my point.
Okay. Kevin, why is civic education something that is delayed until when we get to an electioneering period?
It is the misplaced priorities for our country. I agree with Ogola that your vote counts, and any voice that speaks contrary is the enemy's voice.
Correct.
And I know by now the young people knows how to deal with the enemies.
Correct.
I don't want to go there. Yeah, you know how to deal with any voice that speaks to that effect is actually the enemy's voice and must be dealt with as such. Before I respond to that, there was a question of 2022, many young people did not vote.
Yeah.
I've taken time to process this. Why is it that many young people did not vote? I disagree with the fact that they were not given money or they were not sure of what they needed. A young person, and I've been young and I'm still one, the young person's life is very dynamic. Today you are in Nairobi, tomorrow you are in Bungoma, the other day you are in Busia. Our system is made in a way that you can change your place of voting up to how many months? I think around
3 months.
3 months before
3 months
election.
before election, yes.
I know many young people who took their vote, who registered as voters in their villages. And by the time the voting was going on, they were actually here in the city. They could not get fare. You've talked about jobs and economic situations. They could not get fare to go and vote in the village. And so even as we do the civic education, the aspect that I would be very interested on is, can you take your vote where you are sure you will vote? You know, can you register where you will vote? And if you registered in the village and now you have a job in the city, Vincent, if I want to pray that you get there, you be the MP of Ugunja, right?
Yes.
You are the next MP of Ugunja.
Correct. Believe it.
You know, I believe it. But because this is a context, this is a competition,
Yes.
if you don't get it and you get another job in Nairobi, there's no problem of you changing your vote to Nairobi here. So that you are voting, you are registering where you can easily access the place to vote. Why are we delaying civic education? And I say this misplaced priority. You know that we have stayed without IBC for some time, commissioners.
Yeah.
One of the work that IBC commissioners should do is civic education. For 2 years or so, we have stayed without commissioners. The whole of this season, they were to be doing civic education on governance issues. And because it was not a priority then, the political class, who influence a lot this process, didn't see it worth for them to bring these people to the office early until there was a threat. We are facing constitutional crisis. You had such statements just before we need to do something. There's a crisis, we may not do election. And they say, hey, then we need to bring these people on board. So they rushed and brought the people on board. Now, we are now talking about the budget. Now, these things can be done not only by the commission. We need to do it also as individual.
Because I think like institutions such as churches have a better platform to do civic education.
I agree with you. I work for the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya as the national coordinator. And we have a youth commission. Right now, we are in the process of empowering the youth commission, activating it. It's been there, but activating it so that they can engage strongly on civic education. I get opportunity to travel across the country just to see what is happening across. One of the things we are doing this season is to advocate and to do civic education on governance. And as alliance, that brings together a number of churches. We actually bring together 700 churches as members of the alliance. And I agree with you that we have platforms. Church, let me tell you, John, church is the only institution that has the capacity to do civic education successfully. Why am I saying this? If you wanted a message to go out to more than a half of the population of this country same day, that is on a Sunday, release it through the church. For example, if you talk about a Catholic church is almost everywhere in the country, right? Yes. So if you release a message up here and it's trickled down, it will go to every ward in this country. Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, as I finished, that I work for, we have structures to the ward. And what we are doing, using those structures to ensure that we are reaching people from the national office all the way to the ward so that we can tell them exactly what they need to do. And as I finish, Joy talked about something very interesting, John, and I must comment on this. About financial capital, and you talked about properties. Please don't go there when you are vying for, when you are thinking politics. You will sell that land. You will sell, you will be stuck, and these people will be asking you for money. Don't get that land now. You will sell that land, and you may not even get the seat.
And it will be the jam I was talking about.
Forget about the land. Forget about inheritance now. If you are sure and you are keen on vying, and I can see my brother behind you is nodding, you will sell that land. The pressure on you demands that everything around you, you turn it to liquid, to money, so that you kill people, because your opponent is doing that, and you feel you are the odd one out. Please forget about inheritance now. Thank you.
Okay. And as you do that, as you mentioned on that, there is a structure that is spoken to that is very critical.
Yes.
And I think the church structure and the institutional church and their presence around the country,
yes.
the political class, who some of them are sitting in front of us, have mastered that, and they are using that platform for their own,
vote. So I believe church is very critical in shaping the leadership of this country. They should not shy away. They should not leave it open-ended that we will only remain matters spiritual growth and not interfere with their leadership. I believe they have the moral duty. I invite them to get more courage, speak boldly on matters leadership, not only condemn through microphone, but actively govern the discussion on the youths that are within their premises. They must call out what good leadership is, and even quote scriptures on what direction a good leader should look like, and what good it can bring to its people. So I invite church to speak more boldly on matters leadership, confront corrupt leaders. Do not fear to disband bad leaders from the church. Call them out in your platform. Give them a microphone. Ask them even a simple question. You are given, on the last financial year, you are giving around 50 million for your constituency development fund. This church in this constituency. So just speak to your NIG. Give us a brief breakdown on what you have done with that. So once the church does this kind of exercise progressively, they will be bringing another platform where leaders will be held accountable. And they know if the church rebukes you, nobody else will listen to you.
Okay.
So on my last point, we must kill the narrative that your vote will not count. Your vote will count. And with the new vigor and the new crop of young leaders that are coming up, we are going to do what is called marking the register of young people. I will break down what is called marking the register. So just to give you a hint is in our circle, in our sherehe, when you're doing sherehe, before we sit on the table, we'll be asking you, show us your voters card. So that is holding each other accountable. So there are many measures we are going to employ in the coming days to make sure that as much as possible, we bring young people to to the registration center and you have adequate number, because we have an urgent thing to do in 27 and we cannot let it go for anything. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Shadrach, let me bring you in here. When you listen to the conversations that we have, but also just the fact that we are spending billions in a country where young people are struggling with job opportunities, how do you marry these two? Does that also make it feel like the government really doesn't care? If we can set aside 60 billion for an election, yet we have a bigger percentage of young people cannot access opportunities and jobs?
The aspect of financing job opportunities versus the expenses of the election, in a way, there is a situation that we must really find a solution on how we are to cope with this. I would just pose one question to young people. Do you think that the government is really realistic, or either the IBC that they are targeting 6.3 million voters? Do you think they want us to take that voters card? Your answer is as obvious as mine. They might not really want that, because they know that with a smaller figure of people and a smaller turnout, it is easier for them to manipulate and continue their status quo. So I think for us, we really need to know that no one is on your side, because one, our politics have been cultured to ensure that it is extremely expensive, and they also ensure that you are also limited from accessing resources, so that you can always remain with your talent but without resources to facilitate it. And that is why I still have to repeat my point to that. As young people, we need to really find a way of selling our raw talents. And this is what I want to say. Most greatest leaders of all the time are people who have rose on the grounds of what they represent as people. What talents do you have? What integrity do you bring on the table? Because if I know that I was elected based on my own capabilities as a leader, I will probably deliver without any doubt. But if I have to, because let's even just talk about the Political Parties Act and the way they say we are multi-party state, but it is not as it is. We are like two-party state, and these are the two parties that always receive a lot of funding. Yes. Why don't we say that if we are genuine about it, then a party that represents or as youngest many people as possible vying on those tickets are the parties that are supposed to be funded? Why don't we change that? And we can be only able to change that if we have enough numbers in parliament. And this is what I still have to get back to young people. This war, we are losing it as it is. If we do not wake up today and look at it from the context that we ensure that we have a massive number of people who are elected to parliament, we will not be able to change this. We will continue crying and crying time and time again. Mm-hmm. Yes, and maybe finally to tackle on the aspect of church, I think young people, and this is what we have to really agree on. We must know that the primary pillar of any election is a Christian. Were it not for the census that was done because of polls in Bethlehem, we would not be having the story of Jesus. And that is what we ought to know, that church is the primary pillar of any election. Let me tell you, somebody ever said that bad leaders are elected by good people or who don't vote.
Correct.
Bad leaders are
elected
by good people who don't vote. And the good people more often are church, because they will be like, why? It does not count. But if we do not agree with that aspect and say that, if I stay home, I'll be doing injustice to church, I'll be doing injustice to my generation, and I'll be doing injustice to my children. We have to say that for me today to make an impact in this society, I have to partake in political, because however way we say, it is politics that drive any nation and drive any life. And God says that so long as you are alive, you are still his child. And so long as you are alive, you must be led by a politician. So you must be awakened.
Thank you. Pass it to Vincent as I come to you. Maybe you can just say your point, then I'll come to Vincent.
Well, I want to speak on two things. Number one, civic education and the delay. During the 2022 elections, the IEBC requested for 40 billion, I think, and they were only given 33. And losses in their budget always touch the soft spots. So they will avoid civic education. They will avoid, voter registration in those remote areas. It will be done 1, 2, 3 days, and they disappear. So even now, they've requested for 61. They are being given 57. We expect civic education will be skipped because they count it as a soft spot. It doesn't count to them. You should know. So it is upon, the Gen Zs and the youth. The same way we did Maandamano, the same way we are showing up for each other, Akina Kaluma Boy, let's do it on social platforms. Let's do it on barazas. I see right now in the city we are having, Bunge la Mwananchi every other day. Let's do it there because the IBC won't do it. Actually, the church, now coming to the church, they have the mandate. But I come from SEK. They only call our MP when they have a harambe. So if my MP is corrupt, he will not be called out like you said, explain to us what you did with our bursary. Yeah. He won't, because right now
the roof we are sitting under
on the roof they want. So he already has them in their pockets. So the reverend will not call him out. Probably other churches do it, but in ours, I can promise you, I will actually be ignored because I do not have money. And probably I would have done civic education for the youth on that day. But because I do not bring in kwa hiyo basket wanaeka hapo, there is no major contribution from me. They will prefer the corrupt governor over me. He will be given platforms over platforms over platforms. Mimi nitaambiwa, we have an aspirant pale nyuma, simama wave. And that's that. Even in my own church, that is how the culture has suppressed us. So coming down now to, as he said, the last point of voting and if it counts. I believe your vote counts, and I believe strongly. We can yap all day and say it has always ended up in courtrooms, but they always go to courtrooms to debate numbers. So if your vote wasn't there, it cannot be debated even in a courtroom.
Correct.
This is a game of numbers, and if you want to know it counts, go away from the presidential debate now. Go down to a ward. My friend, even one vote can make you go to court. One vote of your sister who did not vote. Yes. One vote because she was busy. The last elections I saw people, especially youth, lining up to, polling stations, but not on the queuing pale. Wanasema ni refu. Our mothers queue as early as 4 a.m. Yes. I voted at around, I was among the earliest guys, but I queued at 3. So the people who didn't have the patience, they sat on the roadsides pale, and they waited until they realized it is now 5 p.m. and the askari at the gate just closed. And they are now begging, apana, we were waiting for the queue to subside so that we can vote. So young guys, if I don't know how I can tell you this. The same energy we went to the streets with is the same energy we should use to queue. As they said, let us vote by 8 a.m. if we can, or 9 latest. Then from there, we leave it for our parents. Because I will not promise you that IEBC will bring waiting benches. It will still be a long queue. Yeah. And they are not adding anything. So please, jitume to take it upon yourself as a burden.
Okay, I like that. Vincent, yes. Of course, we are talking about young people being the game changer in this coming election. But also, there's a political promise, and you are in this field. One of the things that people feel this government, the current regime, has failed is that they have not kept their promise. And in fact, if they manage to remove the president, whether 1 term or 2 term, it's on the vote. You as an aspiring candidate, where do you place the value of promise and the actual implementation of the things that politicians promise? I know that's a tough one, but maybe answer it as your final comment.
Interestingly, the electorates, most of them they look at what you tell them. And the more you lie to them,
The more
more
they
they
like
love you. The more you lie to them, the more they promise to vote you in. And you see, there are things that are not doable. For example, a role of an MP, the position which I'm eyeing for, are very, very well stipulated in the Constitution. Legislation, oversight, and representation. So when you come with a role which is meant for the county government, or a role which is meant for somebody else, you talk to the people and tell them we are going to do that.
Okay, one thing that I can say is that the young youths, it is the time we must come out. The way we mobilized ourselves last year, it is the time we must mobilize ourselves. Of course, if we are going to wait for the IEBC to mobilize for us, then I think we are going to fail. The more we wait, the more we are going to fail. Because remember, in this upcoming general election, our voices must be heard. Or else, then we are going to continue lamenting, complaining, and blame games. I think for the issue of us voting, we have a bit of problem of young youths queuing, you know. I think we must have time to be part of the change. Because remember, our parents, they will wake up early and they will queue even until evening. But their focus is to vote. The same thing we must inherit. That if we want change, we must be part of the change we want. Or else, the change will change us.
Wow. Joy, last comment?
So all young people had an option, go out there and take a voter's registration card and go out and vote. Our political parties should give an opportunity for young people to be voted for because they have the energy, the enthusiasm, and the skills needed to lead, because they are the people who are part of our generation that is supposed to be leading. So give our young people, especially women, an opportunity to vote.
Brian?
It will be so sad if we finish this without having me talk to the young people, just in 30 seconds. We are actually the majority. And if we sit back and just watch what is going on, that simply means we are allowing the minority to still help us vote those who we don't want in power. So the young people, it's the time, the same voice we have. I know we are tech savvy. Let's mobilize each other online. Let's mobilize each other, and even the candidates we have, let's support them in terms of visibility, because that is where we are majorly. And then let's get out, let's register, and even for those who had registered, please go and confirm. Just check so that you are sure you know where your polling station is and you are sure you will vote.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
So
in 30 seconds.
In 30 seconds. This is a direct message to the young people. It's not really about the politician who will come forward giving out their manifesto or ideology. The ballot revolution is about your story. Take your story to the ballot. Take your pain. Take your struggle. Kusha ifungiwa mlango. Go and protest on the ballot. Kama uko campus na unainama, the ballot is your redemption. So I'm counting on you. I believe you won't let me down. And we'll try to make sure that you don't let us down, because we cannot imagine another 27 with the kind of leadership that has been running this country. So from the bottom of my heart, I'm urging you that all these stories, all these situations that we've been in, all of us together as collective, must reach the ballot. So that's my message to all of you. Thank you.
All right, Kevin.
Thank you.
30 seconds.
I think first let me say, I hope Vincent is not using the picture he has painted. The more you lie, the more you are likely to be to be elected. I hope they will see the election.
He's a right man. Yeah.
My eyes are actually on the by-election, and I'm hoping that IEBC will give us a reason to trust the commission through the few by-election. It is like a friendly match for them. The race in Ugunja will be now the young people versus the systems. And I'm looking forward to see whether the young people are really ready. They have one of their own. And the same is also happening in Kasipul, where there's also another young man who is running, and we have that across. Let me finish by saying this. It's only on the ballot that you get opportunity to fire and hire. Correct. Let me say fire or hire. And you get that opportunity once after every 5 years. Yes. That opportunity should be guarded so jealously. And I want to encourage every young person, please fix your eyes on 2027 and prepare yourself for what you'd want to say. The margins we have seen in the results, especially the 2022 election, 200,000 votes is very minimal. If we only had 5% more people come out to vote, you don't want to imagine what that would have been. And for us to get good leaders, let us have good options in the ballot.
All right.
So let's have more people go out. Let's have more options so that we have a variety to choose from. Choosing between two devils, two demons. I'm not saying anyone is a demon, but when you are presented with the two demons and you are told you must choose, you'll actually choose one of the demons.
Yes.
So I pray that we will be able to choose well, and as a church and as an umbrella, Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, we are out to do this, to do our work, civic education, and to ensure that the country gets good leaders. And you have articulated our role very well. Yeah. I promise you we will do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is a conversation that cannot end in one sitting. So I'm looking forward to inviting again the Waheshimiwa, women rep, and the MPs, and the county representatives, that when we invite you, at least we'll pick our phone calls. Yeah. Yes, when you get to those positions, and we wish you the very best. I think these kind of platforms are for young people like us to discuss matters that affect our nation and affect us directly. So thank you for making time for us. And the message is clear. I think it's Kevin who said it. Jitume. I think that's the message that we are pushing as we end this conversation, that the change will only begin when you register as a voter. And so maybe you've registered a long time and you voted in subsequent governments and regimes, and they have failed you and you've lost even trust to wake up and go and vote. I want to charge you today that take an opportunity to confirm, as we've been reminded. Please confirm if you are a member of a political party first. Sometimes you might find out you are not that party that you think you are a member of. So you need to check that. You need to register as a voter. Visit any constituency office of IEBC, and they'll be taking this down to the ward level as well. And we had invited IEBC as a representative to come, but they are all out in the field. And we look forward next time to have one of the commissioners come to be part of this conversation. Our democracy is as strong as people that will choose to show up. Show up to register and show up to vote. Until next time, bye-bye for now.